Canon, penalties has been a problem through 4 games. Maybe not so much on the offensive line last week, though there were a couple of holds. I mean, where do you feel like you guys need to kind of tighten things up to clean those things up operationally?
I think for one thing, like I said, it's a big operation thing. I think just getting the reps in practice every day, continue to work on that, dial it in. And then also the playing penalty is a big technique thing. Just get work on technique every single day, getting better and better at that.
It's still early in the week, but what do you know about Tennessee so far, and what have you guys kind of been preparing for early on?
Big up front, it's our first SEC opponent, so it's kind of a drastic change in the level of competition that we're going to face, that we faced so far. Big up front, big inside, tall, long, athletic guys on the outside with speed. So I'm just got to prepare like we've always prepared, and just be ready to go after it on Saturday.
You mentioned a couple weeks ago you guys wanted to improve, running the ball and rush for 300 yards on Saturday. What do you feel like you guys have grown in that area?
I think it's a cohesion thing. We've starting to kind of dial in the guys that we think can help us big on the field. So I think it's getting the reps all with the certain groups that are going to play, and also it's just getting more confident in the run schemes. Getting more comfortable with that, and also just our running backs. Our running backs are incredible. We could be completely wrong up front, and we can still gain 3, 4, 5 yards because our running backs are just so incredible.
How does just the morale and energy of the team right now compare to at some point last season, just now that you guys are at 4-0 and going into SEC play?
Oh, it was night and day. This time last year, obviously, we were not in the spot that we wanted to be. And I think that this time around, lots of energy, lots of juice, lots of excitement, especially as we get going into SEC play. Obviously, big game this weekend, so we're expecting to bring the juice and be ready to roll.
Your teammates have talked a little bit about it, but just kind of expand on the urgency/chip on your shoulder mentality you guys have had, and how you feel like that's paid off in your first 4 games.
I feel like it's paid off pretty well. Like I said, last year was not what we expected to happen. But I feel like we brought in the right guys in the offseason. We've worked hard this offseason, and we did have that chip on our shoulder mentality because we had a lot to prove. I feel like we've proved a lot this past 4 games. We have a lot to prove, and we got to continue to prove that every single week as we get into SEC play.
Coach mentioned maybe rotating three guys at guard, 3 guys at tackle. Kind of what's it like for you whenever a new guy lines up to you every other drive?
Honestly, I don't think it changes a whole lot because like I've been saying, we get the reps in practice. We get those different groups, different combinations of offensive line in practice. We get a lot, and so I'll work with all those guys all the time in indie drills and team and everything. So I'm comfortable with playing with whoever I need to play, and I feel confident in anybody that we put out there.
Brought in some spring portal guys, and you never know what to expect, right? Because you don't know how quickly they can get the scheme down. But you look over there on Saturday, and you got Zach, who got here in the spring, and you got Javen James, who's played left and now right tackle. When did maybe you as a veteran start seeing that those guys were guys that were going to be contributors, not just in the rotation, but guys that could start and play meaningful snaps?
Pretty early on, as they got here, as we started summer workouts, we immediately started to kind of do our O-line, out of practice stuff, get-togethers on our own, stuff like that, kind of get the group together. I feel like pretty early on, I feel like those guys could help us as we went on during the summer and during summer workouts and into camp, and especially during camp, those guys really proved themselves that they could help us, and I'm super proud of those guys, how they've been playing.
Kind of adding on top of that, there's been so much talk about the time spent outside the building together. Isaac was talking about the brotherhood that he feels like is the main difference this year. How much of a difference does that make, especially at your position where you guys are fighting for each other and it's such a physically demanding play every single play?
Yeah, it's a huge difference, and it means a lot. Obviously, if you don't know the guys who are playing next to you, you can't trust them, and if you can't trust them, you can't play with them. So I feel like we have built that trust, and I feel like I do have those confidence in those guys, and I feel like us 5 can, us 8 to 9 guys, whoever's going to be out there every single week, we can go compete against anybody. I appreciate it.